Brown Funeral Home. Since 1880, our family has stood with other families through the hardest of times. So when you're looking for peace of mind, let our family help your family. Brown Funeral Home in Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson. We're here when you need us.
We have the tools, we have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
We welcome you in on this Monday evening to Miller Time. Matt Miller and Matt Crawford with you for the next 2 hours. Yep, you got to put up with us till 7 o'clock tonight. Then it's back to our normal schedule, the Dana Holgerson Show. We promise you, he's coming on from 7 to 9 tonight.
Did you put it in the computer this week?
It's in the computer, ready to go. And then it's the great, spectacular Monday Night Football matchup as we join in progress at 9 o'clock. The New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, this would be a game the Bills go out and get. This would be a typical Bills showing, just letting you know.
Well, and I'm hoping for it because otherwise there's not a whole lot of reason to pay attention.
Have you noticed the phenomenal Thursday night matchup we have this week?
I haven't looked ahead. I can't get past Monday.
The Raiders and the 49ers.
Yes.
But again, looking at that matchup at the beginning of the season, that looked a lot. Jimmy Garoppolo against Derek Carr and the new Chucky Raiders. That looked like a pretty intriguing matchup, but looking at it now, you're scratching your head wondering why we want to see these teams on short rest in prime time on a non-NFL night.
Because, as the NFL will probably deem it, dun, 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 someone has to win. Although maybe we could get yet another tie.
We could. Anything's possible in this year's NFL.
Anything, including bye-bye head coach. Middle of the season, word comes out today after the loss against the Steelers. I guess when you go from tying the Steelers in the opener and then winning 2 games for the first time in a long time, and then going into another matchup with the Steelers and hopefully some promise with your number 1 pick and Baker Mayfield at quarterback, when you lose to the Steelers a second time, a team that has owned you, by the way, through the years, it's enough to go, bye, Hugh Jackson. We don't need you anymore.
Well, it was also their defensive coordinator, Todd Haley. I'm sorry, not the offensive coordinator, Todd Haley. Defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, will be taking over as interim head coach.
Okay.
You seem flustered about that.
Well, are the Cleveland Browns or what? Yeah, I mean, okay.
The last time I checked, they weren't the Jacksonville Jaguars,
well, I'm saying,
yes.
Okay, if the issue then is our offense is not doing well, we're not scoring points, so we're firing the head coach and the offensive coordinator, what's going to make my offense better? I'm naming the defensive guys the head coach. Ding! What? That really makes a ton of sense to me. Get ready. Now they'll lose 13-10 because the defense will still be playing decent football and they won't be able to score 10 points. I don't understand thinking in front offices. I don't. I'm not that intelligent, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe I think too simple in so many ways, but it just makes no sense to me. I'm struggling, at least I feel like offensively, so I'm going to name a defensive guy as my head coach. So who's taking over the offense?
I have no idea. Here we go. Freddie Kitchens. He was the running back coach and associate head coach.
He can throw everything at it but the kitchen sink. Boom. Never mind. Did you have the drum roll queued up there? There is a drum roll in the computer.
Not expecting you to go there.
I wasn't either. You threw it out there, and I had to at least swing at that softball.
Okay.
But
he was 3-36-1 in his 3 seasons.
Who's that?
Hugh Jackson.
Well, yeah, but okay.
3-36-1. At some point, you got to pull the plug.
I know, but you knew coming in that
you didn't know know coming in because you got a whole new, what you hope is a whole new offense, including a
But
overall number one quarterback who's just coming off the Heisman. You want to have expectations every year.
Okay, you're talking this year. What I'm talking about is when you throw out that record, they knew when they hired him that look, this was a rebuilding process. They were the Pits then. And so they've made some strides that this year they've at least won 2 games. 2 out of their first, 6? 7. I guess they're 4-1 now or something.
So at the end of the year, they're going to be a 4-12 team?
Okay. Firing Hugh Jackson right now, are they going to be any better than a 4-12 team? No.
You don't know that.
Okay.
Until the end of the season, you cannot say whether this is a smart or dumb decision.
I would be willing to lay money on it that at this moment in time, at least, it's not it just doesn't make sense to me. What is going to happen for your football team over the next 7 or 8 weeks that is going to make this team that much better?
They needed to follow tradition because the last 5 Cleveland Brown head coaches have been fired after the second meeting against the Steelers in that season. Talk about ironic. The last 5 Cleveland Brown head coaches have been fired following the second Steelers game of that season. Is that ironic or what?
So for the next head coach,
you better beat the Steelers, even if that's your only win.
That's it. But okay, so what has that done for him? How's that worked so far?
Nothing, because the next coach comes in, and then 2.5 years later, they're losing to the Steelers second time, and they're gone.
Which is my point. So why are you making this move now? Look, they're the Cleveland Browns, and right now they show why they're the Cleveland Browns. I just don't get it. Hey,
similar to the way your Buccaneers are showing why they're the Buccaneers.
Amen. I was just going to go there and say I have no room to talk as a Tampa fan because they're headed in that same direction. They have struggled as an organization as a whole. Now, what gets me is the Browns didn't always struggle. Right? I mean, the Browns had some pretty darn good teams. But again, remember, this is not those Browns.
It's different Browns.
Right.
Those Browns right now are
the Baltimore Ravens.
I was going to say the Baltimore Ravens.
And now this is the new Browns.
Yes.
And since the new Browns, it has been a struggle.
It's amazing how much 1 year off of football can do to a city and a franchise.
Absolutely. You know, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what was it? You and I both commented. We both saw the same article. After yesterday, of course, you texted me and said, hey, looks like Fitzmagic is back. And I'm going, whoa, what happened to Jameis?
And he was, wasn't he?
He was, because I actually got to see the I didn't see the touchdown, but I saw the 2-point conversion.
Did you see it after they switched from the Redskins game over there?
Yeah. And as they made the switch and boom, they were going for the 2-point conversion. He did a great job of keeping his feet moving in the pocket, of keeping his head downfield. And I mean, he threw a laser right into the chest of whoever. I don't even know who caught it in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. But then let's go back to the Cleveland Browns, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just 2 weeks ago fired their defensive coordinator because their defense has not been good. They went
and what did they do yesterday? Give up 37?
Yeah, and with 1:05, they just tied the game. All the momentum in the world should be on their side right now. And the Cincinnati Bengals
it's not like you knew A.J. Green was that good of a receiver.
I've heard of him. I have. And apparently the defense in Tampa hasn't. Again, they fired a defensive coordinator, supposedly was going to fire up this defense and make things different, right? No, you don't. The personnel's not there or whatever's going on. And again, what they do, they fired the defensive coordinator and made a defensive assistant as a defensive coordinator.
You think he's bringing in a different scheme?
I was going to say, he's probably going to do a lot of the same things. And guess what? It showed when you gave up 37 points and a last-second field goal and lose. Oh, and by the way,
to the most averaging 17 team in history, the Marvin Lewis Cincinnati Bengals.
There it is. And then what? I read the reaction because as I text you when you're texting me, you know, hey, Fitzmagic is back. What happened to Jameis? How about 4 interceptions? I went, wow. And then ESPN puts out the, hey, let's overreact. Apparently that's a regular column for them of some sort.
I think every Monday they do an NFL column, the let's overreact to what we saw over the weekend.
Well, it was the let's overreact, and it was the picture of Jameis Winston, and it says, is Jameis done in Tampa?
He should be.
Why would that be an overreaction? Huh? Well, let me tell you why it's not an overreaction. Here we go. Jameis Winston, #1 pick in 2015. In his 4th season. Look, he hadn't put up bad numbers, 12,817 passing yards and 61% completion percentage. That's not bad. 75 touchdowns. That's not bad over 3+ seasons, this being his 4th year. But then you go 54 interceptions.
So it's basically, it's over a 2-to-1 ratio.
Yes. And here's the deal. He doesn't win. In 49 games, his record is 19-30. He's throwing picks while eating W's and doing stupid stuff off the field. He's not your franchise quarterback.
That's where I was going, because not only is he not winning on the field, but he's being a phenomenal representative for your team off the field.
That's it. They've blown it yet again. Here we go. Do I have like 2 minutes?
Go for it. We got 2 hours. Go for it.
All right. Number 1 draft picks in Tampa history, 1976. Beginning of the team, their best pick at number 1, Leroy Selman. Played with the team through 1984, member of the NFL or the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and in 2009 inducted into the Bucs Ring of Honor. After that, listen to this craziness. 1977, very next year, Bucs get the number 1 pick because they didn't win a game in 76. They picked Ricky Bell. Now, look, Ricky was a good running back for the Bucs while he was there. Unfortunately, Ricky had an illness and died at the age of 29. A movie made about him. I remember watching that as a kid and crying, watching what he went through. But he played with Tampa only through 1981. But here's the catch. Who was the number 2 pick in that 1977 draft? Tampa took Ricky Bell because he played for John McKay, the Bucs head coach, while at USC. And he loved him, so that's why he took him. But you know who they bypassed to take him? You may recognize this name, Tony Dorsett.
The guy Adrian Peterson passed on the top 10 list for rushing yards in NFL history this week.
He could have been taken by Tampa, but instead was taken with the number 2 pick by Dallas.
Hold on
year.
real quick. I'll let you get this. Is 30 seconds real quick.
Yeah.
You say that, guy you may have heard of, Tony Dorsett. Okay, you've heard of Tony Dorsett because he was a Dallas Cowboy and was during one of the greatest dynasties and greatest teams of all time.
So maybe he would not have been the same.
Yeah, you
Tony
don't know
Dorsett
if he's going to be the same Tony Dorsett with the Bucs.
I don't know. But I do know that there were a lot of people who questioned Tampa making that pick the way they did. All right, let's go forward. 1986, Bo Jackson. I didn't realize what had happened. I read this. Do you realize? Apparently, Bo, between his football and then baseball seasons at Auburn, because remember, he was a pretty good baseball player.
Yeah.
He went for some type of a visit to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs apparently told him that it had been approved by the NCAA, and it wasn't. That became a violation, and he didn't get to compete in his final Auburn baseball season, according to what I read.
So that's why he didn't want to go to
That's
Tampa.
why he told him, guys, do not draft me. Because he and his folks around him felt like Tampa did that intentionally to put him behind an 8 ball to say, I guess I got to go play football in Tampa. And he said, Tampa, don't take me. I ain't playing. And they went, yeah, right. And they took Bo Jackson. And what did Bo Jackson tell Tampa? Told you, and went and played baseball for the Royals. And Tampa ended up trading his rights away to the Oakland Raiders, where he eventually became a 2-sport athlete, and man, was he good.
He was too strong.
But why did
his only issue was he was too strong for his own good.
Why do you do that? Because Tampa is a knucklehead organization, much like what we're seeing right now in Cleveland. 1987, one more number 1 pick, Vinny Testaverde.
Hey, Vinny Testaverde was a journeyman quarterback.
There you go. But here's the deal. In Tampa, he struggled. His best season was his last season, which was 1992, only 4 years in, where he threw 14 touchdowns, but threw 16 picks. So
he only threw 14 touchdowns in a year?
2,554 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 16 picks, while completing a career best 57% of his passes.
So he shouldn't pass a whole lot.
And now we go to Jameis Winston. Is it an overreaction? No, that's exactly what should happen to Jameis right now.
Yeah,
Tampa has to find a quarterback in this next draft or wherever, because they don't have it right now. Fitzmagic should be the guy right now that he's taken over the job again. It should be his to lose.
Do you want to know some 2018 stats real quick before we got to take a break?
Go ahead.
Fitzpatrick this year, 13-5 touchdowns, interceptions. Jameis Winston, 6 and 10 touchdowns to interception ratio. Total QBR, Fitzpatrick that was his what, 4th game playing this year?
At least.
78.7 to Jameis Winston's 56.1. Completion percentage, Fitzpatrick 68.1%, Jameis 64.9%. So to me, I mean, just looking at the stats, it's clear. And you know what you're going to get out of Winston. He's done it. He's proven that he can put up numbers when he wants to, but he can also be a 4-interception guy. But in the same way, that's what you're going to get out of Fitzpatrick.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, okay, do you want to play a young guy that is unpredictable, or you want to play a veteran that's unpredictable?
Either way, you got to find help. Interesting, and I'll wrap it up with this in the next minute because I know we are way late on getting in a break. Listen to a guy over the weekend on NBC Sports Radio who got into the situation talking about Colin Kaepernick, and I guess, a player made comment about, a particular team, and this shows why Kaepernick should be back in. And he started talking numbers, and he mentioned Eli Manning, who the Redskins played yesterday. Manning is actually putting up pretty decent numbers this year, but the team's still not winning. Just because someone can put up numbers doesn't mean they're going to win. And in the end, Colin Kaepernick was that same way. He put up a few numbers here and there, but the teams that he quarterbacked...
Other than his rookie year, they didn't win.
They weren't winning.
Everybody remembers that first-year playoff win against Green Bay.
Boom.
And all of a sudden, he's a winner. His stats were... But other than that first year he had, which was the whole read option taking the league by storm with him, Russell Wilson, and RG3.
Yes.
Everybody remembers that and remembers that win over Green Bay when he ran for 100 and some odd yards or 200 and some odd yards. But he really didn't win all that much.
Right.
But that's what people remember.
And that's what I'm saying here with Jameis Winston. Look, you're putting up some numbers. Some numbers. Other numbers are not that good. Interceptions to touchdown, not good. And the fact that you're just not winning games, somebody's got to take over that team that can win games. Thank you for letting me vent.
Could it be Will Grier after the draft?
Why not? He's a Florida guy, right?
He's a North Carolina
Well, but
guy.
he was down there, so he would probably be willing to go back to Florida.
He was down there for a sneeze. Then he took Sudafed and got kicked out.
So we'll bring him back. He wasn't in the Tampa area.
No, he was in Gainesville.
See, there you go. Totally different area. That's up in that little panhandle,
No, it's not. That's Tallahassee. That's where Florida State is. Gainesville's about right smack dab in the middle.
We just better take a break. We'll be back in just a minute with more Miller Time.
Fire off this season with Sunfire Energy Solutions. When it comes to gas, wood, and pellet fireplaces, stoves, and inserts, we've got it all. Quadrafire, Harmon, Heat and Glow, Vermont Castings, and much more. Come by and see the 3,000 square foot showroom located in downtown Martinsburg with hundreds of outdoor amenities to choose from. Are you already dreading the expected heating bill increases? We can help. Sunfire Energy Solutions is your total energy experts. Find out more on Facebook and sunfireenergysolutions.com or stop by the showroom today.
Grab a seat at the tables each week with House of Cards. Former Yankee beat writer and author of Dueling with Kings, Daniel Barbarisi.
I was a baseball writer, and how do guys should be so good at this daily fantasy sports baseball thing? And that's where I was very, very wrong about it.
Scott Ian from Anthrax.
I found a lot of similarities between playing poker and playing guitar.
Director of the House, starring Will Ferrell, Andrew J. Cohen.
You just write a script, and then you make a movie, and it sort of takes care of that anxiety.
Saturdays, 8 a.m. on Talk Radio WRNR, your source for local talk, news, and sports.
I'm Mark Istook with the NFL Network now on the Westwood One Radio Network. In Cincinnati, Ryan Fitzpatrick led the Buccaneers to a 34-34 tie with a minute remaining. That proved to be too much time, though, as Andy Dalton marched the Bengals down the field to set up a 44-yard game-winning field goal as time expired. Another Chiefs win, another 4-touchdown game for Patrick Mahomes, this time against the Broncos. And Russell Wilson had a perfect passer rating in the Seahawks win over the Lions. In London, the Eagles topped the Jaguars. The Steelers handled the Browns. Carolina beat down Baltimore. The Bears handled the Jets. And Washington is breathing a bit easier in the NFC East with a win over the Giants. Marlon Mack and the Colts ran over the Raiders. Arizona beat San Francisco, and the Rams beat the Packers to stay undefeated. In the nightcap, the Saints avenged their loss from the Minnesota Miracle by taking down the Vikings. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Napa know-how.
This month, a 2-pack of Napa Night Vision headlamps is up to $10 off. Because with fall comes longer nights and poor overall visibility. Luckily, our headlamps have superior illumination, which helps reduce the chance of an accident. See better, drive safer, with up to $10 off a 2-pack of Napa Night Vision headlamps. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer ends 10/31/18.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now. 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/turns for more information.
Before running for Attorney General, Patrick Morrissey got rich as a Washington lobbyist for pharmaceutical distributors, including Cardinal Health. Morrissey admits it.
We did do some lobbying work.
So while Morrissey was lobbying for Cardinal, the company shipped over 6.5 million opioid pills to a single pharmacy in Mount Gay Shamrock, West Virginia. Then, when Morrissey ran for Attorney General, Cardinal contributed to his campaign. Here's 60 Minutes.
Records show he also took more than $8,000 in political contributions from Cardinal Health.
Now, Morrissey is being sued because he refuses to turn over documents about his connections to the opioid industry. He doesn't want West Virginians to know that he settled for pennies on the dollar with the opioid companies that his family's lobbying firm made millions off of. Patrick Morrissey is still taking care of the drug companies and covering it up.
I'm Joe Manchin, candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Manchin for West Virginia.
Did you know West Virginia's new Speaker of the House of Delegates selected Jefferson County Delegate Riley Moore as the new majority leader? Did you know Riley Moore has a 100% voting record on legislation supported by the Eastern Panhandle Business Association? Legislation advocating education, government, legal, and tax reforms moving West Virginia in the right direction. The EPBA has endorsed Riley Moore for re-election to the House of Delegates in the 67th District. We feel Riley Moore earned our endorsement and deserves your vote.
Paid for by EPBA PAC.
In the House of Delegates' 63rd District race, candidate John Hardy has received the endorsement of West Virginians for Coal, the Political Action Committee of the West Virginia Coal Association. John Hardy understands the importance of mining in the Mountain States. As a hardworking West Virginia business owner, John Hardy is a fiscal conservative who believes in smaller government, less regulation, and tax reform to promote economic development. Vote John Hardy for House of Delegates' 63rd District. Paid for by Samson Wright, Sharon Novak.
Come on, man. And with the local DBC news, LL Cool J with a triumphant comeback. But tonight, don't call it a comeback.
And we welcome you back to Miller Time with like 3 minutes to spare as we went extremely long on our first segment.
We like to talk.
You let me rant about my Bucks. I appreciate it.
You listen to me an awful lot, rant about, although you've been kind of aggravated about scheduling recently.
I apologize. So. Yeah. So now you want to start something going into the break because earlier today.
I'm not starting anything.
No. It's too late. You already did. You brought it up because you wanted this. You wanted this small battle going into the break.
Everybody just sees you as the nice, calm person. Doesn't get mad about anything. Oh, trust me. He gets mad.
It's not mad. It's frustration.
You punch things.
It's the side of me that says I don't understand the necessity. We're halfway through football season. We're all the way through the high school season, a little better than halfway through the college season, halfway through the NFL season. And this weekend, the Mountaineer basketball team is playing an exhibition game against Penn State. That is going to conflict with the exact same time that the pregame show will begin, not the game itself, before the Mountaineers then play at Texas at 3:30. Now, of course, they would like affiliates to carry those games. We can't carry both.
It's kind of difficult.
So we'll have the football game on, 12 noon pregame, 3:30 kickoff. That's a big one right there for the Mountaineers in Texas after Texas lost last weekend.
Yes, Texas is going to be eager to bounce back off that. West Virginia coming off a massive win. A very, I don't want to say uncharacteristic, but they came out and did what I don't think a lot of people were expecting them to do.
Right, and now they've got to carry that into this one because a win over Texas sets them up for where they want to be with Oklahoma in their sights. Not that they still don't have some games in between, but, it puts them in a good spot. But two things going on the same Saturday where Mountaineer fans are, again, having to kind of pick and choose how things may play out or what. Basketball needs to wait. Be patient.
You're a sports guy. You're supposed to like sports.
I like sports, but I like them in their time. That's what I like. I like them when they're supposed to be played. It's too early. My mind is not thinking round ball, and apparently neither are the Wizards. They're thinking.
You're just talking about the worst defensive team in the NBA, aren't you?
Yeah, I think we'll have more on them later in the show and even more tomorrow as we preview their next matchup with the Memphis Grizzlies, who will probably score over 100. All right, time for us to take our bottom of the hour break. Back shortly with more Miller Time.
CBS News Update. President Trump and the First Lady are heading to Pittsburgh tomorrow to mourn the 11 people gunned down there at the Tree of Life Synagogue. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders.
Tomorrow, the President and First Lady will travel to Pennsylvania to express the support of the American people and grieve with the Pittsburgh community.
Today, suspected shooter Robert Bowers appeared in federal court and is being held without bond in the brutal attack. U.S. Attorney Scott Brady.
My office charged Robert Bowers with federal murder and assault charges relative to the horrific acts of violence he committed at the Tree of Life Synagogue.
CBS's David Begnaud was in court.
He was in the hospital. We were told there was a chance, in fact, he wasn't going to be in the courtroom today because of his injuries. But he didn't appear to be someone who had just been shot and gone through any kind of critical care, if you will. He was overweight, as I noted, and he was handcuffed.
Bowers' next hearing will be on Thursday. CBS News Update. I'm Allison Keyes.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Clear skies will allow for a bit of late-night cooling. For a time here, the breeze is going to keep temperatures from falling very far, but by first thing in the morning, we're into the upper 30s for the low. Sunny for the daytime Tuesday, nice and mild with a high of 62. Wednesday, Halloween, sunny and even warmer with highs in the lower 70s. Halloween night, things look good too. Thursday could bring some showers, but it stays warm. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio, WRNR.
L.A. Roberts is Berkeley County's oldest jeweler, where every season is new and exciting. In fact, new is old school to us, and though it's nothing new, our old traditions like exceptional service, quality, and value maintain L.A. Roberts Jewelers as the old master among so many new kids on the block. Whether you're a newcomer or part of the old guard, entrust all your fine jewelry needs to L.A. Roberts, Old World Jewelers for a new age, in historic downtown Martinsburg.
Remember that last trip to the auto mechanic?
I also think your solenoid gasket is bad.
What?
Yep, that'll be another $500.
Forget that and go to D&N Auto Specialist at 230 Tavern Road, Martinsburg, where honesty is their best policy. Serving the Eastern Panhandle since 1974, D&N Auto is family-owned and operated, specializing in exhaust alignments and tires. From general maintenance to major overhauls, they'll treat you right. Call D&N Auto Specialist at 304-267-4078.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Some news before Monday Night Football. Patriots and the Bills. Rob Gronkowski expected to play. James White, Kenyon Barner, the only active running backs for this Monday Night Football tilt. Sony Michel, we knew this was ruled out yesterday. And Josh Gordon getting disciplined for tardiness. He's going to miss several series. Could be the first quarter of the game. Making changes in Cleveland. The Browns fired Hugh Jackson after just a little bit over 2 years as the head coach. Offensive coordinator Todd Haley also gone. Greg Williams, the DC, will take over on an interim basis. Ryan Fitzpatrick going to be the starter in Tampa this week against the Panthers. Also news out of Tampa, Ronald Jones, a suffered hamstring strain, expected to miss a few weeks of action. And this just came across too. The Lions apparently asking for at least a fourth-round pick if they deal away wide receiver Golden Tate. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
After removing your creme brulee from the oven, your dessert should look just scrumptious. Now sprinkle with some sugar. And use your torch to braise it to a golden, crispy brown.
Disasters happen. Fire, water, and natural disasters. Tell your insurance provider you prefer Blue Ridge Property Restore. Blue Ridge Property Restore, getting you back from disaster faster.
Join us next week when we tackle Baked Alaska.
If you're a victim in a motor vehicle wreck or injured due to another person's fault, at Ferretti Law Office, we get to work protecting your rights and getting you the money you need and deserve. The insurance companies handling your claims want a fast and cheap settlement. Before making that mistake, call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to discuss your claim for free. You did not choose to be injured, but your choice of law firms can make a difference. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
I'm Bill Schwartz, and I'm running for West Virginia Supreme Court, Division 2, not against Judge Wilkes. You can vote for both of us. I've been a West Virginia lawyer for more than 30 years, representing people like you here in the Eastern Panhandle. Our system is broken, and I need your help to fix it. First, we need predictability and fairness. Next, we need more recusals if there's even the appearance of impropriety. And finally, respect every taxpayer dollar. I'm Bill Schwartz, and I'm asking the Eastern Panhandle for your vote. You can help me fix this.
SchwartzforWV.com, paid for by candidate.
We welcome you back into Miller Time on this Monday evening, looking back through the weekend, talking so far a lot of NFL. We'll talk a little college and, wow, a big high school victory on Saturday night for the Martinsburg Bulldogs. Before we get into, I figure I'll give you your chance now to tout the Washington Redskins and the way that they played. But first, we've got to get in our regular segment, not yesterday, not today, but tomorrow in sports history.
Taking a look at the 30th of October. Only a couple more days till Halloween.
Yes.
That's November. Can you believe it's already almost November?
The high school football season wraps up this weekend.
Insane. Start in 1871. Good year was 1871. The Philadelphia Athletics beat Chicago for the first National Association of Baseball pennant. I'm guessing that was before the term Major League Baseball came about.
National Association of Baseball.
Pennant. 1919, baseball league presidents, so American League, National League, call for the abolishment of the spitball.
Game's never been the same since.
I was going to say, I don't know if you remember those early days, but...
Guys still have tried to sneak that spitter in there every now and again.
1945, Branch Rickey signs Jackie Robinson to a contract, taking his contract from the Montreal Royals. 1954, the first use of a 24-second shot clock in pro basketball. It was Rochester taking on the Boston Celtics.
I think it stuck.
Yeah. And now they just changed it to where when you miss a shot and get an offensive rebound, it resets to 14.
Is that what I was going to say? 14. I know it's much less. So, hey, you got to score 150 points a game. Or at least if you're the Wizards, give them up.
You can't wait 24 whole seconds to do that. You okay?
Jack it up. Shoot from there.
1974, California Angel Nolan Ryan throws fastest recorded pitch in history, 100.9. That would be broken several different times.
Yeah, but
Steven Strasburger's throwing like 104 at San Diego State.
Pretty amazing when it happened, though.
Yeah. 1988, for the first time in the history of these two franchises, the New York Jets beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Took till 1988 for that to happen.
Wow.
Think about how, those are two of the storied franchises in NFL history, and it took that long. And this is a good one to close on. We'll talk about this a little bit later on this year's version. In 2013, on October 30th, it was the Boston Red Sox beating the St. Louis Cardinals 6-1 in Game 6 at Fenway Park to win the World Series. David Ortiz was the MVP of that World Series. Again, we'll talk about this year's World Series coming up a little bit later. But again, the Boston Red Sox got the victory in Game 5 in L.A. The second straight year that the away team for the deciding game has won. So back-to-back years
on the road.
Back-to-back years they've celebrated in the away locker room.
Oh, man.
Which was very tiny.
Was it?
Watching them celebrate last night, I don't know how nobody was moving. With all the cameras and stuff in there and all the players, there was hardly any room to move in there.
Now, you know that facility is the third oldest facility in Major League Baseball right now.
Behind Wrigley and Fenway.
There you go. Dodger Stadium. That was built in the 60s. Everything else is at least newer in some way.
What do you think? Think about football stadiums. How many stadiums or how many fields are older than the 60s in football?
Not too many.
Lambeau?
The Rams are still playing at the Coliseum, right? Isn't that where the game was yesterday?
That doesn't count. They've hopped around.
Yeah, but the Coliseum was...
Well, the Coliseum's been there since 1492. Columbus came over and said there will be a Coliseum there.
Yeah, or I just thought maybe it was already there, the way you're talking. He just showed up and said, well, call it the Coliseum.
So those three, I'm thinking, so Soldier Field, Lambeau's the Coliseum. Other than that, I think those have got to be the three oldest. There's a new Texas Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Redskins are in FedEx.
Right.
New York.
And they're looking to do something new, right? The Redskins, is that still a conversation in D.C., right?
Yeah, big conversation.
Philly's in a pretty new place.
Philly's, they were at the Vet before they went to Lincoln Financial.
Giants and Jets just moved into a new place.
Miami's got a new facility.
Yeah. Got rid of the old Rob. Joe Robbie.
The Superdome in New Orleans is newer than the 60s.
Yeah, but it's
not
it's
new.
Been
It's
around
70s.
A while, though. It's still
Minnesota's got new. Yeah, so you got
Minnesota's brand new.
There's only 3 NFL stadiums.
Don't you love Arizona where they roll the
grass in and
outside?
That's cool. I think that's a cool feature of that stadium.
You ever seen, is it Modern Marvels, I think is what it is on the Discovery Channel? And they did like a tour of that place.
Yes.
And the guy that hosts the show, to me it would be a little scary, but he laid on the grass as it went out the tunnel. And, it moves so slow, you've got a pretty nice little period of time, I'm sure, in there where the body is going underneath of everything. And if you're a little claustrophobic, I'm sure it could get to you. But it was pretty fascinating to watch how that whole system operates.
Are you a fan of tight spaces?
Not really. I didn't. I had an MRI on my head a decade or more ago. And
hard to imagine what they were looking for there.
They didn't find anything, is what the doctor told me. And so at least bad that was. And so, they asked then, are you claustrophobic? And I said, well, not that I'm aware of. And then they stuck me in that tube, and I went, maybe I am.
Maybe a little bit.
So, all right, later on, we have another feature that we do each week, and we've already had it. There's no need to wait any longer in the week, but in the 6 o'clock hour, we'll have our Donk of the week, or in this
week
place,
it'll be donks.
Yeah,
plural,
yeah, multiples.
4 of them, if that gives you any hint.
Well, and a few more as part of the herd, because 4 of them were quote unquote responsible, but there were others that were there. So we'll talk about it. Some of you may already have a hint of where we're going. By the way, Tommy chimed in, text message. Tommy, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the message. We'll talk more about the Wizards tomorrow, so Tommy, get ready. You can call us tomorrow and tell us exactly why, but he just said Brooks has to go. Scott Brooks is out. Don't wait till the All-Star break.
Did I not say earlier, do you think he's on the hot seat yet? I mean, Cleveland got rid of their coach after an 0-6 start, and the Wizards aren't very far away, and the standings are at 1-5. But again, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, but doesn't Cleveland get you? It's like you expected Tyronn Lue to come out and have a winning team when you just lost, the best player in the league that was really the reason you were doing the things that you were doing?
I think starting 0-6 is
unacceptable.
A fireable offense for a lot of places, no matter where you are. Just like I think 1-5 probably should be a fireable offense. But again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. The Wizards are in Memphis taking on the Grizzlies. That is a 7:45 pregame, 8 p.m. tip-off.
Let's talk about a Washington, D.C. team that is riding a wave of success.
A wave that is very foreign to the Jay Gruden era.
Oh, I was going to the Capitals. I'm sorry. No.
What are they riding right now? They're struggling out of the gate, too.
The Redskins.
5-2.
Did you? All right.
That has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? The 5-2 Redskins.
When you sat down and looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year and looked at 7 games. No, I'm thinking though through the first 7. Did you have them 5-2? Did you look and go? No.
I'd have to go. I have the paper in the other room. Maybe the next break I'll go look at it.
All right.
But there's no way I would have had them only winning 2 games the second half of the season.
Okay.
So I had them going 7-9. So there's no way I would have had them only winning 2 games the second half of the season.
So they have exceeded your expectations.
I think I probably had them losing the Giants game in New York. That's probably because they struggled. They had lost 5 of their previous 6 in New York. So back-to-back weeks, they've broken a losing streak of 5 of their last 6. The Cowboys game, they had lost 5 of their last 6 to Dallas. And then they had lost 5 of their last 6 in New York.
Neither one of them were pretty. So how do you take that?
No. Easy. Don't say they weren't pretty. Offensively, passing the ball, they weren't pretty. The defense is playing out of their mind. This is, I think, and I was telling you and Rob Mario this earlier. I think this is the best front 7 and at least best defensive line. And again, there's still half the season to go. But if they stay where they are or in the ballpark where they are right now, I think this may be the best front 7 the Redskins have had in my lifetime. I think you have to go back to the Gibbs era in the 80s.
I was going to say, which is
Dexter Manley, Charles Mann, Dave Butts.
Yes.
That era. To get, they're amazing. And the youth
I was going to say, they're still relatively young, yeah.
Matt Ioannidis is having himself a whale of a year, 2.5 sacks yesterday. Deron Payne, who his biggest claim was he wasn't going to be a good pass rusher, is amazing against the pass rush this year, or amazing with the pass rush, not against the pass rush, and is also doing what people expected him to do at that nose tackle position, stopping the run. Jonathan Allen is proving to be an extremely good leader on the defensive side of the football and stopping the run and getting a good pass rush. And then it's taken a little while, but Preston Smith and Ryan Kerrigan finally coming through on the outside. And with that, you have Mason Foster and Zach Brown roaming the middle of the field, and they're two of the quicker inside linebackers in football. So you get them roaming the field on the tight ends or the slot guys playing zone across the middle. That's an extremely good front seven, and the secondary's not playing bad either. DJ Swearinger's had 4 interceptions so far this year. Josh Norman is playing better. You have Greg Stroman, who was in the supplemental draft, who got burned yesterday. I will say that. He didn't get burned early in the game, but you see him.
But he bounced back.
Yeah, you see him progressing and learning from each one of his mistakes. And in past years, the Redskins have mistakes, and you think, okay, well, they know what's going to happen. Maybe they can adjust and work on that, and they hadn't. This year, you see mistakes made and then adjustments. And on the offensive side of the football, you have Adrian Peterson, who...
the ageless wonder.
This dude wasn't picked up by a team until the second to last preseason game. Where did he come from? I mean, I know where he came from. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame running back. But who expected this? 147 yards yesterday on 26 carries and broke a 65-yarder to seal the game with under 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty huge score when you look at the final 20-13.
Well, they scored the touchdown with, what was it, 17 seconds left?
I understand, but then those points, though, were clearly big, and that was a great run.
Well, yeah, but the blocking.
Yep.
Brandon Sheriff pulling through that hole.
Yes.
Amazing.
And still the speed.
Yeah.
To be able to
bounce to the outside.
I was going to say, because it looked like...
beat the safety to the point of contact.
To be able to turn up field, stay in bounds, and go.
I mean, absolutely incredible what the Redskins have done the last 3 weeks. And coming off that Saints game, where you looked at that Saints game, and that was about as bad of a game as you could possibly play.
Saints are showing they're pretty good, though, too. Told you they were going to get that win. Well, we'll have more on our pick'ems tomorrow.
But just coming off that Saints loss, you could have gone downhill quick.
Oh, yeah.
And what have they done? They've had 3 straight wins, which they haven't been the prettiest throwing the football, which, I mean, that's how a lot of people judge how good you look, is how many passing yards you have. When's the last time a Redskins running back broke a 65-yard run? I think it's Clinton Portis. When's the last time you've had a running back in a season now have 5 games with over 90 yards? I think you got to go back to at least Alfred Morris. So it's been 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah.
So the Redskins are winning in ways that they don't often win.
I know we got to get in a break, so we can then hear from some member of the Redskins. I'll let you choose whether we're going to the top and the head coach or whether we hear from Adrian Peterson. But I'm going to bring up a word, a name. I don't want you to yell or anything. I want you to understand this is a legitimate, serious question. I'm not trying to start a fight. Not like you did earlier, right before the bottom of the hour break.
I didn't start any fight. I just pointed out.
Not that Alex Smith is doing a bad job or anything, but there are things going on with this team that weren't there with Kirk Cousins there. Kurt's having a pretty good year with Minnesota, even though they dropped one of the Saints last night. Would that passing attack be any different if he was still there?
Here's what I will say about that. Because obviously, as a Redskin fan, you got to think about that. Here's what I will say about that. I think it's a lot nicer to have a good run game and be able to control the clock and then hope that the passing game comes through, which it hasn't been awful. It just hasn't been what Alex Smith's not going to throw for 4,000 yards like Cousins did. But I like having the run game working and then have the pass game not necessarily firing on all cylinders, but knowing that it could, rather than having a quarterback who's going to throw for 300 yards, but you're going to have 28 yards of total offense on the ground.
Is Cousins cursed? Because suddenly the Vikings this year aren't even running the football very well.
You know what I noticed last night? That he did a lot, and nobody talks about it. Kirk Cousins has a fumbling problem. And nobody talks about it. That dude cannot hold on to the football in the pocket.
All right. We'll schedule the intervention. We'll get him in a room, and we'll deal with his fumbling.
So to answer your question, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think every Redskins fan has thought about that.
Right.
What would this team look like if Adrian Peterson was running like that and Kirk Cousins was throwing for 300 yards a game and the defense is playing like that? You think, well, they can't be stopped.
Right.
But right now, the Redskins are starting hotter than they ever did with Kirk Cousins under center because they're winning in different ways. And the best way to improve a pass game is with a good run game.
Yeah. And we talked earlier about numbers. Numbers are not always the thing because there were times when Kirk Cousins had opportunities to lead the team to wins.
The last 2 Decembers.
And didn't get it done.
The Redskins were in playoff contention the last 2 Decembers, and he might as well not even been there.
All right. So. This is a sports show. Let's call a timeout. We need to take a break, and then we'll come back and talk a little more Redskins football on the other side of this break. You're listening to Miller Time.
I'm John Doyle. I'm running for the House of Delegates because I think education is the key to economic development. West Virginia has the lowest percentage of college graduates of any state in the union. That's why we're 49th in the nation in per capita income. Let's make the first 2 years of public college, university, and vocational school tuition free. Then we'll begin to solve that problem, and we'll begin to get really good jobs here in West Virginia. I'm John Doyle. I approve this message.
Paid for by John Doyle for Delegate Rod Snyder, Treasurer.
I'm an official sounding scientist, and I'm here for a comfort experiment. We're going to recreate the way your home heating system works in your car. Crank up your heat. Blast it at your face. Starting to break a sweat? This is central heating. A Mitsubishi Electric Zone comfort solution with hyperheating allows you to get just the right amount of heat exactly where you need it. Fast. No cold drafts. It's comfort made personal. This concludes our little comfort experiment.
Take advantage of Mitsubishi Electric's 36-month 0% financing on qualifying systems at McCray Heating and Cooling. Celebrating 80 years in business with free estimates available online at McCrayway.com.
Hi, I'm Brett Rogers, candidate for House of Delegates, 63rd District. I'm a lifelong resident of Berkeley County and the son of 2 career educators. I support gun rights and other civil liberties. I support tax relief and elimination of inefficient business regulations. I support teachers and parents and competition in education. I'm running for delegate to speak out forcefully in Charleston for the interest of Berkeley County. Instead of the same old, I'll be your breath of fresh air downstate. I'm the fiscally conservative, open-minded, and energetic choice for our community. This election, vote for Brett Rogers for delegate, paid for by candidate.
W. Harley Miller Systems provides custom integration services such as home or office automation, audio-video distribution, home theater, networking, and much more. With a Control4 system, you can consolidate into a single and simple solution, eliminating the need for a table full of remotes or dozens of apps on your cell phone. Want to check on the house from work? Want to listen to your favorite music while cooking dinner? Want to enjoy your favorite movie in your own home theater? Contact W. Harley Miller to make your dreams come true. Phone 304-350-1931 or visit WHMsystems.com.
Honda certified pre-owned vehicles go through a 182-point inspection before they're sold. But it wasn't always 182 points. It used to be more, like point 253, where every previous owner goes through an extensive lie detector test.
Nice Civic.
Thank you.
So, where were you and it the night of February 5th, 2017?
My parents' house for a barbecue.
Bring any leftovers into the car with you?
Yes.
Foil or plastic?
Both.
Well played. You passed.
Or point 210, the dog hair interrogation.
Nice Accord, Mark. Bet you thought you could fool us, huh? What's this Labradoodle hair doing in the back seat?
It's probably from my friend's clothes. They have a dog.
Sure it's not your dog's hair?
I don't have a dog.
Oh. Then you passed.
You can see why we cut it down to 182 points. Visit HondaCertified.com to check out our latest certified pre-owned inventory from KBB.com's 2018 Best Value brand.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for information.
An appropriate song. We've kind of been jumping around here in the first segment of Miller Time. Hey, we're with you till 7 o'clock. Don't go anywhere. We'll break for news and weather at the top of the hour and then come back for more fun. We got a couple of minutes before that top of the hour. Matt and Matt with you, and we were talking a little Redskins football. Being the Redskins fan that you are and the man really in the control seat.
I have all the control today.
Who you want to hear from?
Well, we got a couple from Jay Gruden. We got one from Adrian Peterson, and we have one from Alex Smith. So I'll let you pick. Now that you know what we have, I'll let you pick.
Let's hear from the coach first. We'll start at the top and get his thoughts on how his team is playing.
All right, let's talk. He talked defense.
Okay.
So we'll talk about the impressive defense. So let's hear from the big man himself, Jay Gruden, on how his defense is playing.
Well, I think we've invested some resources in the defense, hoping they would pay off. Jonathan and Payne, and obviously Preston Carrigan's first rounder, going out and getting Josh and DJ and re-signing Zach Brown, and obviously Mason Foster. So, we're hoping that this is what we're trying to build. In this division, you got to play great defense, in my opinion, and this is critical for our success. Until we get going offensively, we have to win games like this, and there's nothing wrong with that. It counts the same in a win column, and we'll take it.
All right, he said until the offense gets going, which was interesting to me because, again, the run game is there. 4 of your 6 games this year, or 5 of your 7, you've had over 90 yards on the ground with one running back. So when you say the offense get going, I think you should clarify that because, Jay, the offense is working just differently than you're used to.
Is that funny how this league has changed?
Yeah.
Because you're talking like the team has run for 90 yards. It used to be, it used to be, an individual player was trying to run for 100 yards in a game, and end up in the neighborhood of 1,600 yards maybe by the end of a season. And now we're going, the whole team ran for 90. That was a good running day because so many teams just don't run the football well.
And the Redskins are right now, and it's very nice. I'm enjoying it.
They are. The O-line is getting the job done, and Adrian Peterson really running well, and glad he's doing well because they're banged up again in that backfield. And part of the reason the pass game is not going, and you've talked about it, is they've been banged up in that wide receiver position as well.
Yeah, Chris Thompson came back yesterday, but still had the ribs nagging him a little bit. Paul Richardson, he was there, but not there.
Right.
Jamison Crowder still hasn't come back yet. Again, one of the best slot receivers in the NFL, or at least the NFC. And then you have Jordan Reed, who did get a lot of action yesterday. Josh Doxson has actually seemed a little grittier the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's been the media coming in, because the media's been I'm right there with them as part of the media, just saying that he's quite frankly been a bust as a first-round draft pick. So I don't know whether he's kind of taken that to heart and has started playing harder or what, but he's actually made some pretty good contributions the last couple of weeks. Vernon Davis, same way. So, but there's not, the Redskins don't have that guy that you're waiting to.
Right.
They don't have the deep threat. They don't have that guy offensively other than Jordan Reed, and teams know that.
But then again, Alex Smith has not been a deep threat type of quarterback.
And I tell you what, watching Alex Smith, it looks like in the pocket he wants to go deep. You watch him sit in the pocket and dance around in the pocket, and it looks like when there's a deep route being run, he looks, and you see him kind of clinch the ball a little tight. Like he wants to, but he's afraid to. And I think that's just kind of part of his game. We talked about the running game and how good it was yesterday. Again, 147 yards from Adrian Peterson on 26 carries. Let's hear from the guy who got those yards. Here's AP on the game yesterday.
Unfortunately, you have games like this sometimes, on the road, but you have to be able to just keep grinding it out and, and putting your best foot forward. I feel like the defense played outstanding. Obviously, 7 sacks total as a group. That's amazing. 2 or 3 turnovers. Special teams stepped in and played a big role, but a win is a win, so it's all about just grinding. Keep pressing, and we did that today as a group and pulled off a big win for us.
Big win for the Redskins, 5-2, and really they're in command right now.
Game and a half up in the NFC's first time since 2008 for those Redskins junkies out there. The Jim Zorn era. It's the last time they started the season 5-2.
Which also brings cautious optimism because you know how that season ended as well. Stay tuned. We've got more Miller Time coming up.
Is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by TheraWorks Relief.
I'm Allison Keys. The man suspected of the mass shooting that killed 11 people and injured 6 others at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh is being held without bond now. CBS's Bill Rakoff was in court with him today.
Robert Bowers was rolled into the courtroom in a wheelchair after being released from the hospital this morning. Shackled and wearing a blue long-sleeve shirt, his demeanor was calm and serious. He answered in a clear voice a series of questions from federal judge Robert Mitchell, including whether he wanted the criminal complaint or the potential penalties read to him. He replied no to both. Bowers waived a detention hearing and will be held till a preliminary hearing on the murder and hate crime charges scheduled for November 1st. Bill Rakoff, CBS News, Pittsburgh.
American Jewish Congress President Jack Rosen says his community must work directly to fight hate.
I think this came all as a shock to the Jewish community. We have to be concerned once again that there are rising forces, people who are mobilized and using the public avenues to attack Jews.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders is lashing out at those who have blamed President Trump's rhetoric for the violence in the past week.
The only person responsible for carrying out either of these heinous acts were the individuals who carried them out. It's not the president.
The president's speech had also been implicated by critics over the killing of 2 African Americans by a white gunman in Kentucky last week, and in the case of Cesar Sayoc, who was charged with mailing pipe bombs to opponents of President Trump. CBS News has learned Sayoc had a list of more than 100 targets in his van. He was also in court today.
I'm Matt Piper in Miami. Sayoc is back in court Friday for another hearing. This one was short and simple: to hear the charges against him and to announce he is represented by 3 local attorneys. Sayoc mumbled his response to the judge and was often hard to hear. But before the session started, he teared up in his seat, handcuffed, wearing a brown jumpsuit.
More than 5,000 soldiers are expected to be deployed to the southern border by the end of the week. General Terrence O'Shaughnessy says 800 are already on their way, and the rest will be there shortly after.
Border security is national security, and the U.S. military will advance CBP's capability to harden the border.
Rescuers are retrieving remains, pieces of aircraft, and personal belongings after a brand new Boeing jet operated by an Indonesian budget airline crashed minutes after takeoff. CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
The data shows a surge in speed and a steep decline, almost like a nosedive.
All 189 people on board were likely killed. The Dow dropped 245, the NASDAQ fell 117, and the S&P dropped 17. This is CBS News.
To experience relief from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief Fast-Acting Foam. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain relief aisle at your local pharmacy or TheraWorksRelief.com.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? Do you feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 866-844-7344 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 866-844-7344. That's 866-844-7344.
Here's your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. There are lane closures on Interstate 81 near Martinsburg, running from south of Tabler Station Road to around Apple Harvest Drive. Those closures are happening from 7 p.m. until 6 a.m. Sunday through Thursday nights and will last for a few weeks. The early voting period in West Virginia continues through this Saturday. In Berkeley County, you can vote at 110 West King Street in Martinsburg. In Jefferson County, voting takes place at 100 East Washington Street in Charlestown. And in Morgan County, the voting location is 77 Fairfax Street in Berkeley Springs. Hours are 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. at each location on each day. On Election Day itself, November 6th, polls will be open from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. 43-year-old Alfredo Diaz of Shenandoah Junction was sentenced to 5 years probation for filing a false tax return. That's according to U.S. Attorney Bill Powell. Diaz pled guilty to doing so 2 years ago in Jefferson County. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Temperatures dropping through the 40s this evening with fair skies. Winds will be diminishing too. First thing in the morning, we're at about 38 degrees to start the day, but bright sunshine gets us up into the lower 60s during the afternoon. Much lighter wind too. It's going to feel a whole lot nicer. Wednesday into Thursday, it's a nice warm-up. A Halloween high on Wednesday near 71 degrees. Plenty of sunshine. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
Hi, I'm Brett Rogers, candidate for House of Delegates, 63rd District. I'm a lifelong resident of Berkeley County and the son of 2 career educators. I support gun rights and other civil liberties. I support tax relief and elimination of inefficient business regulations. I support teachers and parents and competition in education. I'm running for delegate to speak out forcefully in Charleston for the interest of Berkeley County. Instead of the same old, I'll be your breath of fresh air downstate. I'm the fiscally conservative, open-minded, and energetic choice for our community. This election, vote for Brett Rogers for delegate, paid for by candidate.
I'm John Doyle. I'm running for the House of Delegates because I think education is the key to economic development. West Virginia has the lowest percentage of college graduates of any state in the union. That's why we're 49th in the nation in per capita income. Let's make the first 2 years of public college, university, and vocational school tuition free. Then we'll begin to solve that problem, and we'll begin to get really good jobs here in West Virginia. I'm John Doyle. I approve this message.
Paid for by John Doyle for Delegate Rod Snyder, Treasurer.
We have the tools, we have the talent. It's Miller time.
It's Miller time on Talk Radio WRNR. A look at local sports with the play-by-play voice of local sports, Matt Miller.
We welcome you back into Miller time. Matt and Matt with you till 7 o'clock tonight. Then it's off to the Dana Holgerson show. That'll be from 7 to 9. Then at 9 o'clock, we join in progress Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots.
Da Bills.
Can Da Bills shut down Tom Brady and the Patriots?
I don't know if they can shut them down. I'm telling you, this would be a very Bills game if they made this competitive. The Bills like to do this once a year against the Patriots. Yeah. Maybe not win, but be competitive. So, wouldn't surprise me. Again, I'm not saying they're going to go out and win. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if it's not quite the blowout you're expecting.
We will find out tonight right here together.
All right, before we get into our next segment, this portion of the show is a service of the Mirius Group and Ameriprise Financial. Advisors John Everson and Phil McCoy. Call Ameriprise Financial Services at 304-263-4343 or stop by their office at 1270 Winchester Avenue in Martinsburg. All right, that's all I had to say. You can go on from here.
Let's see. Where are we going?
Let's go with the World Series.
Sounds good to me.
We really didn't give this series the credit it deserved. I feel bad. There's just so much other local stuff going on.
Right, and that's, we tend to focus locally, regionally. If the Nationals...
Are you saying the Boston Red Sox and the Los Angeles Dodgers weren't local?
Well, the Red Sox are at least regional. They're an AL East team. They're a rival of the Baltimore Orioles just down the road. I
wouldn't go straight to regional. There's regional interests, not necessarily regional.
There you go. Well, you can go down to D.C. and hop the train and go to Boston. That's regional enough,
7 hours
right?
later on a train trip.
I don't think it's 7.
It's 7. New
Is
York,
it a 7
New York's 5.
On the bus? Or, on the train?
Not on the train. New York's about 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, but New York's probably the half.
All right, I'll look up the train ride to Boston here as we roll into this segment. But nonetheless, it was a long distance between Boston and L.A. And for the Dodgers, a long distance between trying to win this World Series and ultimately having it get away. I knew they'd win at least one out there. And when they won an 18-inning game, the way that they won, and then took the 4-0 lead in the next game, I really thought this series is going to be even up at 2 apiece and is really going to be fun. But
you thought.
Then the Boston Red Sox flexed their muscles. Look, you got to give this Red Sox team credit. I've been one of those who, in recent years, it seems the team that's been the best in the regular season doesn't turn out to be the best in the postseason. Just ask the Washington Capitals for a couple of years, right?
Hey, that's the defending Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals.
That's it. And yet what? They weren't the best team in the league during the regular season last year. So that's why, I kind of went into it with some caution, so to speak. But the Red Sox showed, man, they are legit. And this was just an absolutely fantastic Major League Baseball season.
It was. It was amazing. The series itself was fantastic. You look at certain aspects of the season as a whole. You have one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball history with the Baltimore Orioles. You have a very disappointing Washington Nationals team.
Yes.
The Chicago Cubs are one of the NL favorites, really floundered down the stretch. But with that being said, you have the surprise of the Philadelphia Phillies and some young guys like Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah.
You have the Atlanta Braves, who came out of nowhere
to win the East.
The Milwaukee Brewers, you didn't expect them to beat it.
No.
The Pirates were a lot better than people were expecting.
Yeah.
If you would have said at the beginning of the season who's going to have a better record, the Pittsburgh Pirates or the Washington Nationals, I think people, including Pirates fans, would have laughed in your face and gone the Nationals by 30 games.
Right, yeah. It's not even going to be close.
That's not how it turned out.
No.
So this season, I don't want to go straight to phenomenal. It's been a interesting and unique baseball season.
But was the American League a lot more predictable? You knew Boston was going to be good. You knew the Yankees were probably going to be pretty good. You knew Cleveland was going to be the team to beat in the Central.
And you knew the Astros.
Right.
See, now that wasn't...
The A's were a surprise because they had a phenomenal second half to get themselves into the wild card. But, you know, Seattle there for a while was flirting. But
yeah, that other spot was really up for grabs anyway.
In the Central, outside of Cleveland, nobody. And
yeah, so the A's making it, while they definitely had a better season than a lot were expecting. I'm not sure that, I mean, you knew that last spot was going to be up for grabs.
Right.
The NL was, I think, the shock of the year.
Yeah.
You knew the Dodgers were going to be there. You didn't expect.
Well, you figured the Dodgers would be there because at the beginning of the year, a lot of people would have gone, you knew the Nationals were going to be there.
Yeah.
And
the Dodgers were there last year.
Yeah.
So you expected them, and they didn't lose a whole lot. So you expected them to have...
They got off to such a slow start.
They did, but you knew that they were going to bounce back.
But why?
You expected...
What's the difference between the Dodgers and the Nationals?
Because...
you knew... Because you can sit here now and say you knew the Dodgers were going to bounce back. And I would have said that through much of the season for the Nationals. And then it reached a point where we both together were like, it's over. It's done. They're not going to bounce back. They have no hope. They're finished.
Managerial, maybe.
Okay.
I think that helps.
Which is the thing that didn't seem to go well in this World Series. Dave Roberts got booed by the home fans when he was introduced yesterday.
Well, he made several questionable pitching changes. You take Rich Hill out when he's throwing a one-hitter? Come on.
He says that, hey, Hill had already told him that he was wearing out a little bit, and he pointed out that Hill met him right on the front of the mound and handed him the baseball before he even really asked for it. That Hill had kind of gone what he had. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that's part of the reason I saw the Dodgers definitely fighting back more than the Nationals.
I read where he is not under contract for next year, that this wrapped up the current contract that he was under. Can he take a team to the World Series and not be back next year?
Can he take the team to back-to-back World Series?
And not be back next year?
No.
But he didn't win either one of them.
You know how hard it is to get to back-to-back World Series? And you're facing a Houston team last year that was one of the youngest, most explosive teams in baseball. And not only were they fighting for their team, they had a huge hurricane hit the town and had the force of Houston and Texas behind them. I don't know if you've noticed, but sports in Texas are a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
You have that behind you, along with a young team who's energetic and going, hey, this is fun. Let's just keep going and doing this. And then this year you're facing one of the best baseball teams to ever hit the diamond in the Boston Red Sox. They set a record for most wins in their franchise history. I don't know if you've noticed, but the Boston Red Sox have a pretty storied history of winning.
They do. They do.
So I don't know. I think it'd be dumb if they didn't bring him back.
I can agree, but I'm just thinking in this day and age of what have you done for me lately? And
what have you done for me lately is take me to 2 World Series.
And then comes the but. You haven't won either
There
one.
is no but.
So
to me, there is no but. You say you've taken me to 2 straight playoffs or 3 straight playoffs or even 2 or 3 straight AL or NL championships, then you're going, okay, you've taken me a couple rounds, can't get me over that hump.
So the Dusty
you've gotten to the pinnacle, and you've had the unfortunate reality of facing again that Astros team and this year's Red Sox team. Now, if that's their reasoning, was that we want to go in a different direction, which obviously would be the reasoning if they let him go. then that's dumb on the Dodgers' part.
Did the Dodgers look at the national situation and go, let's not make that mistake? Because, I look at what Dusty Baker did for 2 years, and you go, no, it's not good enough. Now, you just mentioned, though, okay, he got us to the playoffs, but he just can't get it done in the postseason. So they get rid of him and bring in the young guy, and wait, we're not even getting to the postseason now.
Yeah.
All right, who do you got? We got some comments from participants in the Big World Series win for the Red Sox over the Dodgers.
Let's hear from the pitchers from last night's game.
All right.
Let's first hear from the winning pitcher, David Price, and he can finally shake off the media tag of being a postseason failure.
It was tough, absolutely, to answer that question in spring training, day and day and day and day, over and over and over and over. Anytime it got to September, playoffs, I hold all the cards now, and that feels so good. So that feels so good. I can't tell you how good it feels to hold that trump card. You guys have had it for a long time. You've played that card extremely well, but you don't have it anymore. None of you do, and that feels really good.
You're laughing. I don't know, did you listen to this game at all last night or the end?
I did not get a chance to hear any of it. I saw a little bit online.
Watching the end and watching the reaction they had with each other, meaning the Red Sox with each other, was what you expect out of a World Series. Quite frankly, some of the Red Sox players were talking to the media afterwards, you would have never guessed they won the World Series. And that really included David Price more than anybody. And I think, quite frankly, for him, he was kind of, I don't want to say fed up, but I don't think he was willing to just let go of the way the media had scrutinized him for being a postseason failure. Because he was one of the first people they interviewed after the game last night. And usually you talk to somebody who just won the World Series, it's that they're jumping around, they're smiling. Yeah. David Price really was casual, nonchalant, looked like he just wanted to finish that interview quicker than anything. And I think a lot, and you hear that. And that wasn't necessarily excitement. That was almost more of a, I proved you guys wrong.
Right.
I now have, you cannot say I'm a postseason failure anymore. 3 straight victories in the postseason. So, to me, I just thought that was interesting. So it was almost a personal vendetta against the media rather than celebrating for himself and for his team the way he should.
So is that the determination that has led this Red Sox team to be as good as they are? That determination from him to others on this team as well who have said, okay, enough is enough, and they rose to the occasion.
Well, if you need to, there's every team that wins has that one thing that has that motivation. Yeah. So maybe that was this year's Red Sox motivation. Let's go to the other side of the field, the other dugouts here from losing pitcher, and a guy you really got to feel for at this point, Clayton Kershaw. Yeah. So let's hear from Mr. Kershaw following the loss last night.
It just hurts worse when you make it all the way and get second place, So having done that 2 years in a row now, it doesn't make it any easier. I'm proud to be part of a group that did get to go to the World Series 2 years in a row. Proud of that. Proud of what we were able to accomplish this year as a team. And anytime you lose the last game when you're in the playoffs, it's no fun.
I think that's probably an understatement.
Right. And while it hurts, you know that eventually, down the road, you've got to look back and go, what a great accomplishment. To get there 2 years in a row is extremely challenging. You go back to the Buffalo Bills.
I was going to say they made it to 4 straight and didn't win one.
Yes. And I know
there's a reason they hate the NFC East now.
My brother was a huge Bills fan during that time frame, and just watching those games and seeing how that all played out for them, and you really lose the aspect of what that team accomplished because everybody, they're the team that got there 4 times and didn't win it. And you don't stop and think.
They were the second best team in the league for that long.
4 years in a row, yeah. That's unheard of, even though they didn't win it. And I think for this Dodgers team, eventually that's got to kick in a little bit as well. Look, I know we didn't win it, but, you lost to, as you said, last year, an up-and-coming young team that had a lot of things kind of behind them, pushing them, motivating them, and so forth. And this year you ran into one of the best teams ever. So, okay.
That's the great thing about sports is you never know what you're going to get year in and year out. And speaking of, while we're on the baseball topic, some Nationals news.
Yes.
Just got an alert from ESPN. The Nationals will exercise their $6 million option for 2019 on closer Sean Doolittle. So Sean Doolittle will be a National in 2019.
I think that's a good move.
I think it's a phenomenal move, assuming he stays healthy again this year.
That's it. Obviously.
That 10-day DL injury that lasted 3 months last year.
The second half of the season.
Yeah.
But when he's out there, he's good.
Yeah,
and he seems to be a great clubhouse guy.
Yes, high morale, a good guy to have in your clubhouse. Yeah, I think that's a good option for the Nats to pick up.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll see which direction we go. Probably a little college football. Matt's got on his Maryland Terrapin hat today. If you're watching on TV, don't mistake that M for Martinsburg. That stands for Maryland.
That's a Terp hat.
Yeah, that's that red and, do you call it gold? Is it red and gold or maroon and gold or
what? Black, gold, red, and white are
black,
the 4 Maryland
gold,
colors.
Red and white.
Like the flag.
Like the flag. So we'll find out more about the Terps. I think they had a pretty decent win over the weekend.
Historic win.
Yeah, the Shepherd Rams, they had a big win as well. So more on that coming up as we continue with Miller Time.
Dipping our toes in the water.
Fire off this season with Sunfire Energy Solutions. When it comes to gas, wood, and pellet fireplaces, stoves, and inserts, we've got it all. Quadrifire, Harmon, Heat and Glow, Vermont Castings, and much more. Come by and see the 3,000 square foot showroom located in downtown Martinsburg with hundreds of outdoor amenities to choose from. Are you already dreading the expected heating bill increases? We can help. Sunfire Energy Solutions is your total energy experts. Find out more on Facebook and sunfireenergysolutions.com or stop by the showroom today.
Grab a seat at the tables each week with House of Cards. Former Yankee beat writer and author of Dueling with Kings, Daniel Barbarisi.
I was a baseball writer, and how do guys should be so good at this daily fantasy sports baseball thing? And that part I was very, very wrong about.
Scott Ian from Anthrax.
I found a lot of similarities between playing poker and playing guitar.
Director of the House, starring Will Ferrell, Andrew J. Cohen.
You just write a script, and then you make a movie, and it sort of takes care of that anxiety.
Saturdays, 8 a.m. on Talk Radio WRNR, your source for local talk, news, and sports.
The Mountaineers and the Longhorns get ready for a Big 12 showdown. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics.
When you order your groceries online at Kroger.com or with the Kroger app, you can do your shopping anytime, anywhere, like the gym, the office, or your favorite comfy couch. Plus, when you visit Kroger.com, you can find hundreds of money-saving digital coupons. And whether you place your order on your phone, tablet, or computer, it's still your neighborhood Kroger. So you'll find all the fresh choices, low prices, and great deals you love. And once you've selected your coupons and finished your shopping, you choose a pickup time that fits your schedule. And relax while your order is hand-picked, just the way you like it. Then all you have to do is hop in the car and drive to the store's pickup location. And a friendly Kroger associate will load your specially picked order for you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. It's so convenient. Save time. Shop online today at Kroger.com.
It is an off day for the Mountaineer football players. The coaches, however, continue to meet and prepare for Saturday's game against the Longhorns of Texas. The showdown against the Longhorns will be the 8th all-time meeting between the two schools. And since West Virginia joined the Big 12, the series is dead even. 3 wins and 3 losses. The only other game prior to the Big 12 came back in 1956. Interesting to note that among the 6 games West Virginia has played Texas in the Big 12, WVU has entered ranked on 4 occasions, including this coming week. Last year, well, we really don't know what last year's game was. Of course, Texas won it by a score of 28-14, but that was the game in which Will Greer was injured and West Virginia's season fell apart. No Mountaineer fan will soon forget the first ever meeting as Big 12 teams when West Virginia went into Austin and knocked off the Longhorns by a final score of 48-45. WVU entered that game ranked number 8 in the nation. Texas was number 11, and obviously Saturday's game will be a much anticipated showdown. And through now 7 games for West Virginia, a couple of notes and stats to take a look at. Before the season began, did you think that Kennedy McCoy would be West Virginia's leading rusher? He is right now at 366 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Right behind him is the true freshman, Letty Brown, who's run for 312 yards and 4 touchdowns. And in third spot, Martell Pettaway with 278 rushing yards. So the balance we thought going into the season at that running back position has actually hung true. That is today's Mountaineer Report. It's brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from IMG.
Before running for Attorney General, Patrick Morrissey got rich as a Washington lobbyist for pharmaceutical distributors, including Cardinal Health. Morrissey admits it.
We did do some lobbying work.
So while Morrissey was lobbying for Cardinal, the company shipped over 6.5 million opioid pills to a single pharmacy in Mount Gay Shamrock, West Virginia. Then, when Morrissey ran for Attorney General, Cardinal contributed to his campaign. Here's 60 Minutes.
Records show he also took more than $8,000 in political contributions from Cardinal Health.
Now, Morrissey is being sued because he refuses to turn over documents about his connections to the opioid industry. He doesn't want West Virginians to know that he settled for pennies on the dollar with the opioid companies that his family's lobbying firm made millions off of. Patrick Morrissey is still taking care of the drug companies and covering it up.
I'm Joe Manchin, candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Manchin for West Virginia.
The Eastern Panhandle Business Association has endorsed Larry Kump for House of Delegates, 59th District. The EPBA endorses candidates favoring an agenda supporting a sensible, free enterprise agenda that fosters prosperity in West Virginia, and we feel Larry Kump is the best candidate. Larry Kump explained his support for continuing reforms in government operation, education, the tax and legal system that will move West Virginia in the right direction. Vote Larry Kump for House of Delegates.
Paid for by EPBA PAC.
In the House of Delegates' 63rd District race, candidate John Hardy has received the endorsement of West Virginians for Coal, the political action committee of the West Virginia Coal Association. John Hardy understands the importance of mining in the Mountain States. As a hardworking West Virginia business owner, John Hardy is a fiscal conservative who believes in smaller government, less regulation, and tax reform to promote economic development. Vote John Hardy for House of Delegates' 63rd District. Paid for by Samson Wright, Sharon Novak. We welcome you back into Miller Time along with Matt Crawford. I'm Matt Miller. I'm not sure I recognize the music here.
It's a Maryland Fight song.
Oh, that's right. I have heard that once before in my life.
Once?
No, I'm just kidding. I used to root for the Terps basketball team, man. I was as shocked as anybody when Len Bias passed away those many years ago, and I was excited for the Terps when they won the national championship, and so I like Terp basketball. I got to be honest, I've never followed Terp football a ton. You know, they used to play the Mountaineers on a pretty consistent basis.
See, that's why I was about the Mountaineers before moving up here, and I'm still not a gigantic Mountaineer basketball fan.
All right.
Just because of the last couple years in the NCAA tournament and certain things that have gone on. But, yeah, I always followed the Mountaineer football team. Had no issue with the Mountaineers. They had a good rivalry with Maryland for a long time. That's coming back up in 2020. They renewed that rivalry. So that was very similar where you were more the basketball as opposed to football. The Mountaineers followed the football team, not necessarily the basketball team.
All right. I didn't want to take too much of your time in this Maryland Minute because you actually get a couple of minutes, but they had a really big win over the weekend.
They had a phenomenal win. The first time since they've joined the Big Ten that they had faced Illinois, 63-33. 63 points in a conference game. To put that in perspective for the Terps, if they had not scored 63 in a conference game, Big Ten or ACC, I'd gone back to 1948 and still hadn't found that number. They had scored 62 in a ACC game in 2010 against Wake Forest, and they had scored 62 in 1975 in an ACC game against Virginia. But those were the only two ones that were relatively close. Been in the 50s a few times, but above 60. 63 was the highest, dating all the way back to 1948 was where I stopped my search. And that's quite frankly because I ran out of time.
And what's more important with the final about 30 seconds left before a break at the bottom of the hour is those points and that win mean what?
They're one win away from being bowl eligible. And the Terps are nowhere near as good as the Mountaineers. I'm not trying to make it sound like that at all. We do have a little bit more. We go to 31 after.
Oh, that's true. Thank you.
But it's with all the stuff surrounding the Maryland football program with Jordan McNair and that whole dilemma, which still hasn't been figured out yet, which is annoying the crap out of me.
We still have to talk a little bit about the report that came out at the end of last week.
Yeah, whether DJ Durkin's leaving, coming, Wallace Lowe, staying, going, whatever it is. But to have all that surrounding your team, an interim head coach that was announced a week and a half before they played Texas, they come out, beat ranked Texas in their season opener for the second straight year, and then find themselves one win away from being bowl eligible when out of their last 4 games, their last 2 are Ohio State and Penn State. You can chalk those up as losses. I'm not even that dumb. But they play an unranked Michigan State team. That's still going to be tough. Michigan State's a good non-ranked team. Then you are at Indiana. No offense to Jason Colrick, but Indiana's not exactly a football powerhouse. So realistically, the Terps could be bowl eligible. And again, I know 6 wins isn't a phenomenal season. I'm not trying to say that it is.
Right.
But with everything surrounding this football team, I think 6 wins and to possibly playing a bowl game is amazing.
And right now at 3-2 in the Big Ten, they're tied with
Penn State.
That's the top spot in the East.
No, it's not the top spot.
Not the top.
They're tied for 3rd.
Tied for
with Penn
3rd.
State.
Okay.
Penn State does have the tiebreaker based on overall record.
All right. They don't play each other
Till the end of the season.
Till the end of the season. Last
Penn
game.
State, Ohio State.
Ooh. 2 tough ones. All right, we got to get in a break. Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
Yes, news update. The man being held in the mass shooting at a Pittsburgh synagogue that killed 11 and injured 6 others, Robert Bowers, was in court today. Now he's being held without bond. CBS's David Begnaud is there.
The suspect came in a wheelchair. He was wearing a blue long-sleeve shirt, and I noticed that he appeared curious. He kind of scanned the courtroom. It was filled with media and legal professionals, weren't many empty seats, and he was alert.
Rabbi Jeffrey Myers is being called a hero for saving many, but he doesn't think so.
I carry that regret with me, and I will the rest of my life, that I could have done more, and that I was not able to do that. And that's my burden to carry.
At New York City's Temple Emmanuel, Kara Glickman sees lots of law enforcement.
We're very grateful for the support of the NYPD and the city at what is a very difficult time and sad time for really everyone.
CBS News Update. I'm Allison Keys.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Clear skies will allow for a bit of late-night cooling. For a time here, the breeze is going to keep temperatures from falling very far, but by first thing in the morning, we're into the upper 30s for the low. Sunny for the daytime Tuesday, nice and mild with a high of 62. Wednesday, Halloween, sunny and even warmer with highs in the lower 70s. Halloween night, things look good too. Thursday could bring some showers, but it stays warm. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio, WRNR.
Let's see. Load the clothes in the washing machine. Add detergent. Turn on the washer. Wait, where's all this water coming from? Oh, no!
Disasters happen. Fire, water, and natural disasters. Tell your insurance provider you prefer Blue Ridge Property Restore. Blue Ridge Property Restore, getting you back from disaster faster.
She's gonna kill me.
Who should you call when it comes to your real estate legal needs?
This is Chris Luttrell, local real estate attorney with offices in Martinsburg and Charlestown. Let's be direct. Buying or selling your home is a matter not to be taken lightly. At my firm, Luttrell LC, we possess the experience and knowledge to represent you and ensure your most important investment is protected. Give us a call at 304-267-3050, 304-267-3050, because at Luttrell LC, your home is our business.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Some news before Monday Night Football. Patriots and the Bills. Rob Gronkowski expected to play. James White, Kenyon Varner, the only active running backs for this Monday Night Football tilt. Sonny Michel, we knew this was ruled out yesterday. And Josh Gordon getting disciplined for tardiness. He's going to miss several series, could be the first quarter of the game. Making changes in Cleveland, the Browns fired Hugh Jackson after just a little bit over 2 years as the head coach. Offensive coordinator Todd Haley also gone. Greg Williams, the DC, will take over on an interim basis. Ryan Fitzpatrick going to be the starter in Tampa this week against the Panthers. Also news out of Tampa, Ronald Jones, a suffered hamstring strain, expected to miss a few weeks of action. And this just came across too. The Lions apparently asking for at least a 4th-round pick if they deal away wide receiver Golden Tate. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
A DUI arrest can have a devastating impact on one's life, your job, your driver's license, and in some cases, your very freedom. My name is Harley Wagner. I own and operate West Virginia's only exclusive DUI defense firm. Since 1999, I've been representing citizens throughout the Eastern Panhandle and state of West Virginia charged with DUI. Let my years of training and experience work for you.
The initial consultation is free at the Wagner Law Firm in Martinsburg. Phone 304-901-7400 or online at westvirginiaduilawyers.com.
In whatever you do, it's good to go the extra mile. But when we go to Antwerp, Belgium to buy a diamond for you, we go the extra 7,982 miles, the distance from here to Antwerp. And when you see your new diamond, the sparkle in your eyes will tell us it was worth it to go the distance. Hi, I'm Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. Dave and I are leaving soon on a diamond buying trip. And here's what going the extra 7,982 miles means for you. A more beautiful diamond than you thought possible for your money. Antwerp is the diamond capital of the world. We work directly with the men and women who buy and cut the diamonds. We personally inspect thousands of diamonds to pick only the best out of each parcel. And believe me, we reject hundreds of diamonds for each one we buy. Would you like to own a diamond that will blow by other diamonds in a flash? We're ready to go the extra 7,982 miles for you. See us at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 south of 51 in Inwood.
I'm John Doyle. I'm running for the House of Delegates because I think education is the key to economic development. West Virginia has the lowest percentage of college graduates of any state in the union. That's why we're 49th in the nation in per capita income. Let's make the first 2 years of public college, university, and vocational school tuition free. Then we'll begin to solve that problem, and we'll begin to get really good jobs here in West Virginia. I'm John Doyle. I approve this message.
Paid for by John Doyle for Delegate Rod Snyder, Treasurer. And we welcome you back into Miller Time on this Monday evening. Matt and Matt with you as we make our way towards the 7 o'clock hour and the Dana Holgerson Show. By the way, Tommy chiming in again, let me know, as a Red Sox fan, he is happy that the team not only won, but Red Sox still have some youth. And he's thinking this is a team that can go on and maybe do it again. We'll find out. Maybe it'll be the Dodgers and the Red Sox one more time. Maybe the Nationals will be there.
I wouldn't hold your breath on that.
I'm not.
This segment of the show brought to you by Brown Funeral Home and Cremations, Robert Fields and Sons, a family-owned full-service funeral home that has proudly served our area since Matt Miller was born in 1880.
By the way, we need to contact Tractor Supply. They to me, would be a great sponsor for our Donk of the Week. Let's head out on the farm and check in on this week's Donks of the Week. Would you like to do the lead in? Or do you want me to just jump right in?
I'll let you just jump right in.
I found it fascinating yesterday, totally forgetting about the fact that there was a game in London.
Nobody remembers about it. It's at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Most people are out late on Saturday nights. And unless you're a fan of the team, nobody pays attention to it.
Well, we had picked this game, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles. So I saw the score and saw that Philadelphia had gotten the victory. And then I saw a quick headline about Jaguars players being arrested.
4 of them.
Yeah. Here we go. Safeties Barry Church, Ronnie Harrison, Gerard Wilson, and cornerback DJ Hayden were all arrested. Apparently, they had gone to the London Rain Show Club. I'm assuming this is the night before the game. Saturday night, or was it Friday night?
I think it was Saturday morning.
So Friday night into Saturday.
I think it was 4 a.m. Saturday morning is what I heard.
Apparently, there was a disturbance, a dispute, a scuffle over a bill for the alcohol that had been delivered to their table.
And it wasn't a $100 tab. It wasn't a $150 tab. It wasn't a $1,000 tab.
No.
A little north of that.
Yeah, it was what is listed here as 50,000 euros, which tallies out
to $64,000.
Yeah. Apparently, the players had these very high dollar bottles of champagne and other alcohol coming to their table. And from what I read in the article, they thought it was free. I guess they were there thinking we're NFL stars or what, but apparently all of this alcohol comes to them and all right, keep bringing it on. And they drink it all up. And then as they're getting ready to leave, they get hit with this $64,000 bill, to which they say, no, we're not paying this bill. To which the club owners go, you're not leaving till you do. The football players apparently go, we're out of here, and a couple of bouncers got involved. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are struggling so much, not only can they not win a football game, they couldn't beat two bouncers. Because according to one of the stories I read, the two bouncers did pretty well in this scuffle against these four guys until police arrive, and bang, they are arrested. They eventually settled the charges and so forth, were let go, and the Jaguars said this is an internal matter and we'll handle it internally.
What great representatives of the NFL in our lovely country.
Yes. And the Jaguars team as a whole. Wait a minute. That's the same team that, isn't their owner the one that wants to move them to London? Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, here's what we want to bring over. And what you get out of this is that while four guys were arrested, apparently there were at least four others that were there as well from the Jacksonville team. Guys, you're struggling right now. You started out the year hot.
You shouldn't be out till 4 a.m. spending $64,000. I'd never have that problem. I don't think any of the restaurants I go to, I could order everything on the menu and be anything over like $3,000 or $4,000. I guess when you're in the NFL and can afford it, you have expensive taste.
I suppose, but either way, you just go, what are these guys thinking? You know, what is going through their mind? Oh, this is free. Wouldn't you ask at some point, going, who ordered this?
Or if they had invited you to the restaurant, or so just because you show up and are NFL players, don't pull the entitled card out.
Yes. So congratulations, if that is the proper terminology, to our donks of the week. By the way, I should show you that we actually do have a
trophy for them.
A trophy, yes. There you go. So there is the donk of the week trophy, I guess you might say.
And how fitting! It's a Nationals trophy.
Yeah, which yes, they may have been our donks of the year to this point when you look at how the season played out for them. All right, so we get that out of the way, and we wish the Jacksonville Jaguars all the best now through the rest of the season.
You know who weren't donks this weekend?
They're not donks. They're Rams.
They are, and they were about as Ram as you can get this weekend. Talking Shepherd University and the football team. Big win over West Virginia Wesleyan, 58-35.
Yeah, they really, I thought, played well. While they gave up a few points, the offense moved the football up and down the field. It
was a quiet 58 points. I know that sounds weird, and you're sitting there going, what does a quiet 58 points look like? Talking to you at halftime, I went up to the press box, and I get first half stats pretty much at every game just to see who's doing what, thinking about our post-game interviews and things like that. Rams had like 300 yards of offense in the first half, and you and I both looked at that sheet and had the same reaction. That was 300 yards. They did it quietly, they did it efficiently, and ended up winning substantially against a team they should have beat. Again, West Virginia Wesleyan only coming in with one win on the season.
Right. Yeah, and they established a ground game. They got solid passing from Tyson Bagent, a good game from the receivers. Line looked good, blocking. The defense didn't play poorly. Like I say, they gave up a few plays.
I don't think they've stood out at all this season.
No.
I think our expectations for the Rams should be what we have seen in the last couple of weeks, because they just haven't. There hasn't been a game yet this year where you've gone, man, the defense was really on their stuff today. They've put the offense in a situation where they can win, and the team in a situation where they're going to be able to win ball games. But I don't think the Rams defense has been overly standout so far this year at all.
All right, you got a chance after the game to talk with head coach Ernie McCook.
I did. Just got started with his opening thoughts following the victory.
You know what? Anytime you get a win at home, and it's awesome. You know, the crowd that was here was energized. They were into it. Our players answered the bell, had great focus early, and was able to do some really nice things. So I was really happy.
On the offensive side of the football, a record day for freshman quarterback Tyson Bagent, 7 touchdowns. What did you see out of him today?
You know what? He is just he works his butt off and prepares himself to play at a high level. So So I think that's credit to Tyson. It's a credit to the guys that were around him and were able to make plays. And I think he had a bunch of different receivers that caught him, so that was a good thing.
What did you had a DJ Cornish today? Really a breakout game for him, getting in the end zone 3 times.
DJ we know that he's a great player, and, we have great expectations for him. He's just playing the way we expect him to play, and I'm really happy for him when he can get some touches. But we've got 2 great tight ends, and we got some great receivers, good running backs, and when we can put it all together, we got a chance to be really good.
It seemed like on the defensive side of the football, every time Wesleyan got over the 50-yard line, the defense came up with a big play. How impressed were you with them today?
Oh, man, they play with great energy and effort, and they take pride in whether they give up scores in the red zone, and that pride is important to a football team, and you'd love to see those red zone stops.
Take away the kick returns for you guys. Not an overly strong special teams day. What was the struggling, especially with that kicking game?
It comes down just a couple fits here or there, and those are corrections that we'll make. We're going to enjoy today's win. We're going to come back tomorrow and try and make our corrections, and so we don't have give up points like that.
The drop kick / pooch punt used a lot today. Kick extra points. Have y'all been practicing that, or is that something you went over and just kind of decided to do today?
No, we've been planning to do it. Our kicker, Hayden August Scribbins, is a little banged up, so he was struggling, and I think it was in his head a little bit. So we gave the opportunity for Rue to drop kick, and something he wanted to do, and it was unique, and so it was kind of fun to do that. But it was also gave us to put points on the board. That's a scoring opportunity. So when you're 0 for 3 with your first 3 point after touchdown attempts, that becomes pretty frustrating. I don't think we were 0 for 3, yeah. And that's correct. So it was difficult for us, and so we were able to score some points. They started making adjustments on their end that made it hard for us to do it. But I didn't want to go for 2 and didn't want to do that. I wanted to just try and kick it through.
The weather not as bad as I think a lot of people were expecting. Were you able to change up your game plan a little bit with the nicer weather?
Well, I think, we feel we have great pressure on defense. So I think we would have been fine with the weather, that the pressure that would have put on the opposing offense. And we believe that we can handle any kind of situation. We played in snow here. We played in rain. We practiced a lot in rain this summer. So it's not anything out of the ordinary for us. And when you have bad weather and you can play at home, that is an advantage for us, and it was, and I think we took advantage of it.
Only 2 games left in the regular season. What is your mindset going into those last 2 games, knowing that you guys have to win them?
You know what? It really wouldn't matter what our record set at where we are right now. We have to play to win, and you play to win the game, and that's our goal. We're going to enjoy today's victory and kind of enjoy that, and we'll come to work tomorrow and start putting a plan together for Charleston.
How crazy is it? Only 2 Mountain East Conference games left.
You know what? Right now I'm focusing on one, the Charleston game, and it's pretty surreal. It's real, but our football team wants to play at a high level no matter where or who we play.
Coach, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Talk to you next week.
Thanks a lot. You have a great week.
Head coach Ernie McCook of the Shepherd University Rams. Good offensive week, as you heard there. Tyson Bagent set the single game mark for passing touchdowns at 7. Not bad for a true freshman quarterback, and not taking anything away from him. When they said that over the loudspeaker, I truly thought Connor Jessup held that record for that big game 2 years ago down at West Virginia State where the Rams scored 70.
He had 5 touchdowns passing, but I think 2 of his were rushing in that game.
Because I thought
he was
for sure he
for
had
7 scores.
That must be where I was thinking, because I'm sitting there thinking he set almost every individual record you could against State. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years
He was the backup for for Jeff Ziemba at that point.
And he got the start that week. Ziemba was out, and Connor Jessup just put on a show during the course of that game.
Yeah, so congratulations to Tyson Bagent. Again, pretty impressive for a true freshman quarterback.
All right, and congratulations to Rue Venter. Rue on Venter.
What are you congratulating him for? I like Rue. He's a good guy. But what are you congratulating him for?
He drop-kicked through 3 out of 5 PATs, according to the story in front of me.
It was 2.
I'm telling you.
You were there. It was 2. He was 2 for 5.
Venter connected on 3 of 5 drop-kick extra points. Now, where my brother and I were sitting at our normal spot, you were off in another spot.
Yeah, you decided you didn't like me enough to sit with me. You were done with me for the week after that.
I went down to where we normally sit, and I'm like, well, I don't know where he is. So we just went ahead and took our seats and ate some jerk chicken. Ooh, that was good.
Did you ever have the jerk chicken there?
I had not. My brother had, and he turned me on to it, and yeah, it's definitely worth it. So we were sitting there eating and watching, and after a couple extra point attempts that did not go well.
I mean, bad.
Yeah. We saw him on the sideline, and the long snapper is snapping back, and he's, 7-8 yards back, and he's dropping it on the ground and just popping these little end-over-end kicks right back to the holder, who would turn around and do it again. And he's kind of, okay, who's getting practice here? Is it the kicker or the long snapper making sure he's getting the snaps back? And the next thing you know, the Rams score, and here comes Ruan Venter, and the drop kick is up and through for the extra point.
Well, that's something that I go down every Wednesday and talk to head coach Ernie McCook, sometimes a player or two, depending on what we have time for, which is the interviews you hear on Fridays prior to high school football. And I noticed there was some practice this week with those. Usually the special team guys are out there early just because it's the only time they have the full field. It can be actually on the field, not off to the side. And I noticed Rue was doing some drop kicks, and it was pretty impressive drop kicks, actually. And heard in that interview, some injury to the starting kicker for the Rams, so maybe something they anticipated they might have to do. But again, not taking anything away from Rue. I like Rue. I couldn't kick 2 drop kicks through, or 3. But I think Chip may have gotten those numbers wrong.
Well, we'll go back and do the examination. And after the break, we'll make sure we get that right number. All right, we talked a little bit about we heard a lot about the offense there, a little about special teams as well. Let's turn our attention to the defensive side of the football after the break and hear from Josh Klein. The defense, again, not responsible for all those points going on the board. And some of those points really later in the game, Shepherd had the lead. You're playing that kind of bend, but don't break defense, so to speak. Let them catch the ball, run a little time, that sort of thing. So, all in all, a good total team effort for Shepherd in getting the victory 58-35 against West Virginia Wesleyan. We'll hear from Josh Klein, the defensive coordinator, coming up next as we continue on Miller Time.
Summertime is finally here. That old ballpark man is back in.
I'm John Doyle, running for the House of Delegates in the 67th District. I've always stood strong for clean air and clean drinking water. The proposed Rockwool plant will bring unneeded and unwanted pollution to Jefferson County. And on top of that, they're being given a $6 million tax break to do it. A tax break that is not available to existing Jefferson County businesses were they to expand and add jobs. This makes no sense. Vote John Doyle for delegate on November 6th. I'm John Doyle. I approve this message.
Paid for by Doyle for delegate.
I'm an official sounding scientist, and I'm here for a comfort experiment. We're going to recreate the way your home heating system works in your car. Crank up your heat. Blast it at your face. Starting to break a sweat? This is central heating. A Mitsubishi Electric Zone comfort solution with hyperheating allows you to get just the right amount of heat exactly where you need it. Fast. No cold drafts. It's comfort made personal. This concludes our little comfort experiment.
Take advantage of Mitsubishi Electric's 36-month 0% financing on qualifying systems at McCray Heating and Cooling. Celebrating 80 years in business with free estimates available online at McCrayway.com.
Hi, I'm Brett Rogers, candidate for House of Delegates, 63rd District. I'm a lifelong resident of Berkeley County and the son of 2 career educators. I support gun rights and other civil liberties. I support tax relief and elimination of inefficient business regulations. I support teachers and parents and competition in education. I'm running for delegate to speak out forcefully in Charleston for the interest of Berkeley County. Instead of the same old, I'll be your breath of fresh air downstate. I'm the fiscally conservative, open-minded, and energetic choice for our community. This election, vote for Brett Rogers for delegate, paid for by candidate.
W. Harley Miller Systems provides custom integration services such as home or office automation, audio-video distribution, home theater, networking, and much more. With a Control4 system, you can consolidate into a single and simple solution, eliminating the need for a table full of remotes or dozens of apps on your cell phone. Want to check on the house from work? Want to listen to your favorite music while cooking dinner? Want to enjoy your favorite movie in your own home theater? Contact W. Harley Miller to make your dreams come true. Phone 304-350-1931 or visit WHMSystems.com.
Honda certified pre-owned vehicles go through a 182-point inspection before they're sold. But it wasn't always 182 points. It used to be more, like point 253, where every previous owner goes through an extensive lie detector test.
Nice Civic.
Thank you.
So, where were you in it the night of February 5th, 2017?
My parents' house for a barbecue.
Bring any leftovers into the car with you?
Yes.
Foil or plastic?
Both.
Well played. You passed.
Or point 210, the dog hair interrogation.
Nice Accord, Mark. Bet you thought you could fool us, huh? What's this Labradoodle hair doing in the back seat?
It's probably from my friend's clothes. They have a dog.
Sure it's not your dog's hair?
I don't have a dog.
Oh. Then you passed.
You can see why we cut it down to 182 points. Visit HondaCertified.com to check out our latest certified pre-owned inventory from KBB.com's 2018 Best Value Brand.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for information.
We are back once again on Miller Time. Let's turn our attention to Shepherd Rams defensive football. We were talking about the Rams win over West Virginia Wesleyan on Saturday. We heard from head coach Ernie McCook. Now we hear from the defensive coordinator Josh Klein. Again, Matt, you talked with him.
Just, again, started the same way I did with Coach McCook, just talking about how he thought his defense did in the win over West Virginia Wesleyan.
We came out strong, played really well in the first half, and then had a little bit of some mishaps in the second half. Gave up too many points, too many big plays. Got a lot of kids in, got some experience, and glad to get the win today.
They ran the ball an awful lot. Was that in their game plan? Were you guys expecting that?
They passed it more than they had before, but the weather was bad, so we kind of anticipated that they would run the ball.
How much did that play into your defensive scheme today, knowing the weather was not going to be favorable?
It just kind of restricted the calls that I was going to make, so it shortened the menu just because of we just figured they would run it more, so we wanted more guys to the ball, so more 8-man box looks.
Seems like every time they got across midfield, you all were able to come up with a big turnover. How nice is that?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. So we're pretty happy that the guys really responded on a couple fourth down stops and got some turnovers there. We're really working hard on it in practice, and it's really shown in the games the last 2 weeks.
I know talking to Coach McCook earlier in the week, you are playing one game at a time, but it's a one-game season from here on out. What are your goals the rest of this season with just 2 regular season games left?
The goals are to win out and go 8-2, and maybe we get a shot at the end. Probably not, but that's not really what's in the focus now. It's enjoy this win this weekend and get ready for Charleston, and we know that's going to be a physical ball game next week, and got to perform.
Going into a pretty big stadium, big area in Charleston, does that pose any different toughnesses that you may not get other places?
No, there's the biggest crowds we'll ever get are here. So there's no crowd noise that we would anticipate there. It's a big open stadium, but there's nothing that's really going to affect us with that. They have new turf, so kind of excited about that. I know this was pretty worn out the last few years, so our guys have a chance to participate on that, but no big changes in that venue.
How crazy is this? Think you only have 2 Mountain East Conference games left?
Yeah, it is crazy. It's and going back to the West Virginia Conference, just all those years. So we got 2 more, Charleston and Wise. So it's got to soak it all up and then prepare for the future.
Coach, congratulations. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
There you go, Josh Klein. Disappointed, I think, to see the MEC go by the wayside.
He's been here through and through. He was a player here, and he grew up a half hour from Shepherd, coming to Shepherd games, went to Middletown High School, Middletown, Maryland, right outside of Frederick. So he mentioned the West Virginia Conference,
that's
the
when he played, right?
So just these teams mean a lot to him too. So it'll be interesting, again, playing for the enemy almost
next year, the Rams will have one opportunity to play a non-conference game. It's the opening week of the season. We do have a little bit of a sneak preview of the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference schedule for the Rams, and we'll talk about that a little more tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's a tough schedule.
Yeah.
Looking at it, but it's a tough schedule. But at the same time, you look at the schedule, again, we'll go game by game a little bit more tomorrow. But they have the ability to still be one of the best teams on their side of the conference.
Absolutely. And even looking at the records of the teams on that side right now, as they'll be in that PSAC or Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference East. I know PSAC is, they don't like the terminology, and it does come across a little wrong. So I guess now we have to just go.
It's a lot easier than saying Pennsylvania State
Athletic Conference. Well, I guess you have to just say PSAC. So now that they're a member, we can't make fun of it anymore.
I don't know. We're still going to call Slippery Rock the Slimy Pebble.
There you go. We'll be talking about that a little more tomorrow, and we'll talk a little more high school football as the rankings come out tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And we got to talk a little volleyball tomorrow, as tomorrow the sectional tournaments open. So we'll check in on all of that as well. Join us again tomorrow at 5. That does it for today's Miller Time.
The following is a presentation of IMG, America's home.
More Hard Knocks.